Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Swami Sri Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text 24, Text 23, where Chatuskumar, they are offering further prayers to the Supreme Lord. Yeah, please continue, purport.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated by the Lord Himself that the acts and character of great authorities
Prabhuji,
are
next
followed
paragraph. It is also affirmed.
Sorry. Yeah. It is also after affirmed herein that the Brahmanas are the best of the twice born. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas are all twice born, but the Brahmanas are the best. When there is a fight between two persons, each of them protects the upper part of his body, the head, the arms, and the belly. Similarly, for the actual advancement of human civilization, the best part of the social body, namely the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, the intelligent class of men, the military class, and the mercantile men, should be given special protection. Protection of the laborers should not be neglected, but special protection should be given to the upper orders. Of all classes of men, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas should be given special protection. They should be worshipped. When their protection is performed, it is just like worshipping God. That is not exactly protection, it is a duty. One should worship the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas by offering them all kinds of endowments and sweet words. And if one has no means to offer anything, he must at least use sweet words to pacify them. The Lord personally exhibited this behavior towards the Kumaras. If this system is not introduced by the leaders, then human civilization will be lost. When there is no protection and special treatment for persons who are devotees of the Lord, who are highly intelligent in spiritual life, then the whole society is lost. The word Nanyakshati indicates that such a civilization becomes spoiled and is annihilated. The kind of civilization recommended is called Devapatha, which means the royal road of the demigods. Demigods are supposed to be fully fixed in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. That is the auspicious path that should be protected. If the authorities or the leaders of society do not give special respect to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas and do not offer them not only sweet words but all facilities, then the path of progress will be lost to human civilization. The Lord personally wanted to teach this, and therefore he offered so much praise to the Kumaras. Hare Krishna.
Further, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that all these personalities are called as twice born: Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. Again, whenever we are referring to anything of the Varnashram, the basis of Varnashram remains Chaturvaranyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Okay, so it is always based on the Guna and Karma. So that is the paradigm in which we are discussing this. Chaturvaranyam Maya Srishtam. This is very, very important. Because, one particular line may be picked up from here And people generally, that's what they do. They will pick up one line and just create a sensation, or create some YouTube short or video, something like that. Okay. But whenever there is a fight going on amongst the all parts of the body, of course, all parts of the body are very, very important. But still, a person can live without hands, person can live without legs, person can live with upset stomach, but nobody can live without head. So, although all parts of the body are important, head is specifically important. Similarly, in the social order, all orders are very important: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but especially Brahmanas needs greater protection. Okay, again, Brahmanas, here we are talking about Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. And at the same time, what to speak of the Vaishnava Brahmanas, who are selfless people, who are trying to spread education about the Supreme Lord in the masses and just dedicating their life. Typical example of this is in the ISKCON Brahmacharis. Like we have His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, and then there are so many devotees coming from a very, very high class academic background, personally extremely qualified people, and they are giving their entire life in the service of the Supreme Lord. So such personalities, they are, they have to be very well protected. At the same time, that doesn't mean that all others are neglected. No, everybody needs to be protected. Just like in the fight, you need to protect every part of the body. It's not that I'm only protecting head, but how you'll protect head without protecting your hands or legs? Everything is important. At the same time, head is specifically important. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. It is to be given a special protection. So protection of the laborer should not be neglected. At the same time, the special protection should be offered to the intelligence which is utilized for creating well-being across the society. And protecting them is just like Prabhupada says here, worshipping God. And therefore, all kinds of endowments and the sweet words should be offered, so that, and Prabhupada says, if you have nothing to offer, at least offer the sweet words to such great personalities. And Lord is personally exhibiting this behavior. So in the previous times, the Brahmanas, again, when we are talking of the Brahmanas, here we are talking of the Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, those who are qualified by their Guna and Karma, and not just Jati. Right. So they were provided with the basic necessities of the life, and not that they are struggling, the 8 hours, 9 hours job in the IT, traveling for 2 hours one way. So 13, 14 hours are gone simply taking care of themselves and the family. And what kind of, even if somebody is intelligent, what kind of benefit he can give to society if 14 hours of the 24 hours are wasted simply in maintaining oneself and one's family? And therefore, considering this, the social system was that the Brahmanas are taken care. They don't have to work under anybody, neither they have to work for the salary. So they are not obliged to anybody, and they can give direct and free advice to anyone and everyone. Right. So high class intelligence was available for direct consultation, and this is how Prabhupada says this behavior, respecting the Brahmanas and respecting the Vaishnavas, this behavior is personally exhibited by the Lord Himself towards his behavior towards the Kumaras. If this system is not introduced, then Prabhupada says the human civilization will be lost. What is the meaning of this human civilization will be lost? Means there will be simply wokeism all around. Correct? People will simply become wokes of the worst, the descriptions. And this is, somehow it has got arrested. This wokeism has taken a halt for some time, at least, because of some sanity prevailing due to Elon Musk, Trump, coming to the power. Of course, they coming to the power is, some a different level of insanity is also unleashed. That is another thing. But at least this wokeism has come to, some halt to some extent. Otherwise, the human civilization will be completely lost. You will not believe there are AIs which are woke AIs. They will give reply if you type to the AIs and type that, tell me a joke on Lord Krishna, and they will tell you the joke on Lord Krishna. And if you type the same thing about some another religion, and they will say, no, I cannot do that. And this is, where is your principles of fairness and where is your principle of being equal to all? And nothing. It is just purely wokeism which is going on. And Prabhupada says this is the problem of losing the genuine spirituality. And thus, what happens to the civilization? Nangshati. The civilization will become spoiled and annihilated. So you will be very surprised to know. Of course, we are not any against any animal here, but the point is the number of registered dogs in California, they are more than the number of children they are registered in the junior KG. Do you think such civilization will continue? This is the same with Japan, same with South Korea to begin with, where the birth rate has plummeted to the point of 0.68, where the stable birth rate is supposed to be 2.1. The civilization which is neglecting the God consciousness will eventually will be vanquished, Nangshati. So this is very important. Okay, you can see this in USA, you can see this in Japan, you can this in South Korea, and so many other places. And all these places, now even China is joining them. And all these places, if you find out what is the biggest religion is, people say we are atheism has become the biggest religion. So when somebody becomes atheist, he loses the purpose of life. Goal of life just becomes hedonistic enjoyment, and that hedonistic enjoyment will doom that civilization, and that is called as such civilization becomes spoiled and nangshati, annihilated. And therefore, the Lord, by his personal behavior, is exhibiting the patha, which is called as Deva Patha, royal road of the demigods. So the demigods are supposed to be fully fixed in devotional service and at the same time taking care of their own responsibilities very well. And this is, Prabhupada writes here, the authorities or the leaders of the society should give respect to the brahmanas, right? Brahmanas and especially Brahmana Vaishnavas who are spreading the Krishna consciousness mission, who are spreading the true values of civilization across. And the Lord is personally teaching this by offering so much of praise to the Kumaras. Text 24. Just a minute. Text 24. तत्तेनभीष्टमिव सत्त्वनिधेर्विदत्सो क्षेमं जनाया निजशक्ति विरुदुत्तारे नैतावतात्रित्रधिपतेर्बत विश्वभर्तोर्तेजक्षतं स्ववनत्तस्य सते विनोदः. Translation?
Translation: Dear Lord, you never want the auspicious part to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Just to benefit people in general, you destroy the evil element by your mighty potency. You are the proprietor of the three creations and the maintainer of the entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes. Purport: Lord Krishna was never reduced in his position by becoming a coward boy or by offering respect to Sudama, Brahmana, or his other devotees like Nanda Maharaj, Vasudev, Maharaj Yudhishthir, and the Pandavas' mother. And the Pandavas' mother Kunti. Everyone knew that he was the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, yet his behavior was exemplary. The supreme personality of Godhead is Sachidananda Vigraha. His form is completely spiritual, full of bliss and knowledge, and it is eternal. Because the living entities are his parts and parcels, originally they also belong to the same quality of eternal form as the Lord. But when they come in contact with Maya, the material potency, due to their forgetfulness, their existential constitution is covered. We should try to understand the appearance of our Lord Krishna in this spirit as the Kumaras pray to him. He is eternally a coward boy at Vrindavan. He is eternally the leader of the battle of Kurukshetra, and he is eternally the opulent prince of Dwarka and the lover of the damsels of Vrindavan. All his appearances are meaningful because they show his real characteristic to the conditioned souls who have forgotten their relationship with the Supreme Lord. He does everything for their benefit. The force exhibited in the battle of Kurukshetra by the desire of Krishna and through the agency of Arjuna was also necessary, because when people become too irreligious, force is required. Non-violence in this respect is rascaldom. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So now further, the sages are saying, "Oh dear Lord, you never want that auspicious path to be destroyed." What is that path? That path is Devapatha. That Devapatha never wants to be destroyed. Previously, if you remember, the Lord has said, I cannot see the world without the Pandavas, a Pandavam. So the Lord never wanted to see the world without the devotees. The Lord never wants to see the world, this auspicious path is being destroyed. So, and therefore, what happens? He comes again and again. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So whenever there is a decline in religion, the Lord will come again and again. Yada yada hi dharmasya. And what he will do? That is being explained. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. So these are the eternal activities of the Lord. This is the eternal glory of the Supreme Lord. And by his submission, he's saying, oh, I receive all my powers from the brāhmaṇas because I'm worshipping them. I become so powerful that even my water washing my feet becomes Ganga and purifying the whole world, including Lord Shiva, carrying that water, and all my energy I derive from the brāhmaṇas. This submission, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastime. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Lord Krishna is never reduced in his position by becoming a cowherd boy or becoming, washing the feet of Sudama Brahmana, bowing down to Nanda and Yashoda, to Vasudevji, Devaki, or to Kunti, or even to Yudhishthir Maharaj and Bhima. He remains the supreme personality of Godhead, Ekale Ishvara Krishna. And while he is bowing down to all these personalities are also aware that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. We see the beautiful prayers of Queen Kunti where she is saying, Namo Pankajanaabhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. So she is aware he is the supreme personality of Godhead and he is bowing down before me. Right. And she's also offering obeisances, but so that the Lord doesn't feel awkward. And therefore she begins with Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Nabhi of the Lord. And then finally she comes to the lotus feet of the Lord. So the Lord's behavior is always a very submissive behavior. Right. And here Srila Prabhupada says, this we can understand in the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna in the spirit. Further, he says that the Lord's opulent behavior in Dwaraka or with his lovers, the damsels of Vrindavan. His appearances are meaningful because he shows the real characteristics, right, to the conditioned souls. So the Lord will play the exact part and he will show by his own example that, how to behave in a particular role. And this is how. And he is the same Supreme Lord by whose desire the battle of Kurukshetra is carried out through Bhavasavya by the hands of Arjuna. But the desire, what is the force behind this entire battle is the desire of the Supreme Lord. Now, the Supreme Lord comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And same Supreme Lord who desired the battle of Kurukshetra desires Prithvi te ache yada nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hoibe moranam. So this is the desire of the same Supreme Lord. And by this desire of the Supreme Lord, we may or may not have faith, we may or may not believe, this will come true one day, right? Srila Prabhupada showed the glimpse of it, that, this is coming true one day. And we should have the faith in the instructions of the Supreme Lord. And to the degree we have that faith, to that degree we can become instrument like Arjuna in the hands of the Supreme Lord, accomplishing this vision of Krishna consciousness. Text 25. Yam va nayodamamadish bhavan vidhatte Vrittim nuvanu tadanu mannahi nirvyalikam asmasu vaya uchito driyatam sadando yenagasau vayamung kshamahi kilbishena. Translation.
O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these two innocent persons, or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. Purport. The sages, the four Kumaras, now reject their cursing of the two doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, because they are now conscious that persons who engage in the service of the Lord cannot be at fault at any stage. It is said that anyone who has implicit faith in the service of the Lord, or who actually engages in transcendental loving service, has all the good qualities of the demigods. Therefore, a devotee cannot be at fault. If sometimes it is found that he is in error by accident or by some temporary arrangement, that should not be taken very seriously. The cursing of Jai and Vijay is here repented. Now the Kumaras are thinking in terms of their position in the modes of passion and ignorance, and they are prepared to accept any kind of punishment from the Lord. In general, when dealing with devotees, we should not try to find faults. In Bhagavad Gita also it is confirmed that the devotee who faithfully serves the Supreme Lord, even if found to commit a gross mistake, should be considered a sadhu or saintly person. Due to former habits, he may commit some wrong, but because he is engaged in the service of the Lord, that wrong should not be taken very seriously.
So now Sridhar Kumar are saying, "O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these two innocent persons." Now they realize that Jay and Vijay, they are innocent people. They are just doing their duty. Maybe they did their duty a little harshly. And then also to us, we accept it without duplicity. Now we understand we have cursed these two faultless personalities. Very beautiful words here are nirvyalikam. Okay, without duplicity. Kilbishena, they did not deserve a curse. But we have cursed them and we have given them a very, very heavy curse. So we are also guilty of giving a heavy curse. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the four Kumaras now reject their own cursing to the two doorkeepers, Jay and Vijay. They are conscious that these personalities are engaged in devotional service, and simply by being engaged in devotional service, all apparent flaws in their behavior should be neglected by the wise people. Why? Because it is just like somebody is admitted to the hospital and he's admitted in a very bad condition, but he's recovering now. And why in the stage of recovery, he's, sometimes vomiting, sometimes he's, suddenly has no control over the bowel movement and passing stool and urine. And you don't just slap him and tell him that what is this nonsense? Do you understand where you are vomiting? No, he is recovering from the sickness. And at times, somebody may vomit, somebody may pass stool and urine in the bed, but he is in the process of sequence. And the doctor will say, Are Baba, you don't know, he came in such a condition and very quickly he is recovering and you are slapping him for vomiting. So, the people who are engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, they are coming out of lifetimes of conditioning. And sometimes, Prabhupada says, due to their former habits, they may continue to commit some wrong, but now because they are engaged in the service of the Lord, all good qualities, they are guaranteed to come in and sit on such a personality. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavate akinchana sarvair gunair tatra samasate sura. Right. So Srila Prabhupada says, those who have the implicit faith in the service of the Lord will have eventually all the good qualities. Correct. So now the Kumaras are thinking, we are thinking these people are in passion and ignorance, but actually it is we, in cursing them so harshly, we ourselves were in the mode of passion and ignorance. And thus, because of cursing such two innocent personalities standing on the doors of Vaikuṇṭha, we are also equally guilty. And we need to be punished. So they are saying, my dear Lord, now you decide whatever punishment you want to give to them, and please give us also punishment, because we have unnecessarily seen a fault in a devotee and chastised such a devotees by giving them kilbishena, giving them a curse. Srila Prabhupada writes one very important statement here. In general, when dealing with devotees, one should not try to find faults. It's very important thing. In general, when dealing with the devotees, one should not try to find a fault. In fact, there is one, when we have the Shadow Goswamis, there is Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and who was very famous for not absolutely finding a fault with a devotee. Generally, we find fault with the devotees, and it depends on which background you are coming from. Like, I come from a teaching background, and teacher means you have to. Some people will come and check their notebook, this that, and you are trained to find fault. So, and you have to curb that behavior unnecessarily. You come from auditing background sometimes. You come from, certain backgrounds that we come where we are trained and paid for finding faults. But this behavior should not go with, we should not continue that conditioning in the devotee association. Recently, I felt so bad. One person, I just met him after such a long time. He was with me, of course. In a way, you can call it senior, junior. He was a junior to me, but I unnecessarily told him that, Prabhuji, you are giving good lectures, but just be careful that you speak within your realization, because you are repeating some good person doesn't mean that he can speak big words. You also speak big words. But then after some time, I just felt that why I what memory I'm making him carry of myself, that he met me after like 10 years, and the only one thing I had to speak was be very careful in your speech. And I was feeling very bad that I should not have spoken like this to this devotee. So what the point is, in general, a devotee should not find fault with other devotee, right? So he is free from the fault finding mentality. There is one beautiful word for this in Bhagavad Gita. What is this quality called as? The one doesn't find a fault with a person. There's one specific Sanskrit word. Anyway, we'll just missing this. Prabhupada says, because the devotees come from a different background, therefore there is always a chance that they may carry that tendency. Apichet suduracharo, bhajate mamananya bhag, sadureva samantavya, samyak vyavasito hi saha, kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Very soon he will become a great personality. Shashvat chantim nigacchati, kaunteya pratijanihi, name bhakta pranashyati. That my devotee never perishes. And therefore, Prabhupada writes here that due to former habits, they may commit some wrong for some time, but one should not unnecessarily. Like one day, Srila Prabhupada, one of the disciple, he committed one mistake, and he was a sannyasi, and Prabhupada, because he had a very less time, and he had to establish this worldwide mission in 10 years. He established. He sent back his sannyas danda and wrote to Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I'm very difficult to move on with my the vows. I'm extremely sorry disappointing you. Please take back the sannyas danda, and I just wish to remain a simple devotee within ISKCON. And one devotee became so critical of this, and he started spreading all different types of news, rumors, this, that. Just imagine, we are talking 50 years back when there was no WhatsApp and Facebook and Twitter and all these things. And he just, criticized that devotee so much. And then Prabhupada called this devotee. Prabhupada said, already he is going through so much of pain, and you have made his coming back to ISKCON impossible by your loose mouth, right? And that devotee, and eventually this devotee who had submitted to Srila Prabhupada, he continued to remain a devotee, but the bad mouther, he gave up chanting Hare Krishna. He just got on to old habits and just completely lost. And he just became somebody like any other normal, any other conditioned person that he was previous to becoming devotee. So one has to be very sensitive to such in such dealings. If we cannot handle, let us stay away, but we should not criticize devotees. This is very important. Do not criticize. So now this concludes with the third section of this chapter. Now we continue the fourth section, that is, Lord reconciles the situation. So text 26 to 32. Now here the beautiful speech of the Supreme Lord. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Etau Surataragatim Pratipadya Sadhya Samrambha Sambrita Samadhya Anubadhya Yogau Bhuya Sakasham Upayasya Ashubhoya Shapo Mayaiva Nimitastavat Vipraha. We will read only translation.
The Lord
The Lord
replied,
replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in a demoniac family. But they will be firmly united with me in thoughts through mental concentration, intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly.
Yeah. So the Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them were originally ordained by me. This was my desire that you punish them. Right. And therefore, they will fall to a birth of the demoniac family. But they will be firmly in Krishna consciousness, although it will be perverted because they are going to material world, and it will be intensified with extreme anger towards me. But very soon they will come back to me. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, the word you are looking for was apaishunam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, the word you are looking for from Bhagavad Gita was apaishunam. Apaishunam.
Correct. Apaishunam. Apaishunam means freedom from unnecessary fault finding. Apaishunam. Where it comes?
Prabhuji, I think it's in the 16th chapter, the first couple of
Correct.
verses.
Yes, correct. Qualities of the devotees. Apaishunam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.